The feasibility workbook is a critical document that we review to determine the project is feasible and has a need for subsidy. The feasibility workbook is required during any feasibility review. If awarded, you will have to submit an updated version of the workbook at disbursement and other uh, project lifecycle steps. Anytime the feasibility workbook is submitted, it is important to use the most recent edition, which is located on our website. Okay, once you've downloaded the workbook, you'll see something like this. You will see that the workbook has several tabs on it. Because this is such a critical document, we're going to cut this up into three different videos to cover the form. This first video is going to cover just the first two tabs, the project information tab and the rental project work. But in general, when you have this workbook, you want to work from left to right, covering all of the tabs that we see here. If you run into any issues, please reach out to HCD staff and we'll be happy to help you figure out your workbook. All right, so the first tab, the project information tab, is the first tab of the workbook. In this tab, you start by entering the date that you're completing the workbook, enter the project name, the county using the drop-down box that you have there. And then continue moving down, answering all of these questions as you see fit. Please note that anytime you see a red little box in the upper right-hand corner or a little arrow, that pops out and provides information about how to answer those specific areas of the workbook. As you answer these questions, sometimes there will be additional text that pops up. So if you have a currently occupied project, we also need a tenant income worksheet, which is a different form that lists all of the tenants in your project. One thing that trips people up is the non-residential space section. Please note we are looking that when we say non-residential space, we mean space that is used for commercial or supportive service activities. Some things like community buildings, manager and leasing offices, clubhouses, and amenities are not non-residential space. Those are considered residential areas because they are used for housing. Some examples of non-residential space include space reserved for case management, therapy, medical services, beauty salons, or retail. If your project includes non-residential space, please contact us for assistance as needed to help you fill out the rest of the workbook. Also on this project information tab is the project characteristics tab over here, or project characteristics section. Please fill this out so that we have an idea of what your project is going to be. And then some important things on the project characteristics section is that we need to have at least one unit in the rehab or one unit in the new construction section. And we also need to have something in the rehab square foot or the new construction square foot, depending on your type of project. And then finally, if there's anything that you want to provide additional information about, please use the explanation box down here to explain your project further. Now let's move on to the next tab, the rental project worksheet tab. So if you don't fill anything out, it'll look like this, grayed out. To get it to be not grayed out, you'll need to enter information in the workbook. Or in the project information tab. So that should be enough. There we go. So once you have it, you will see that depending on the county you select on the project information tab, it pulls over here as well as the applicable income limits. So the rental project worksheet is where you will enter your units and targeting of the units, as well as the rent that you're going to charge. The targeting that you enter on this rental project worksheet tab is going to have to match what is listed in your project or application in AHP Online. So the targeting sections in AHP Online have less than 50, so that's going to cover these 3 areas here on the rental project worksheet. Then there is the 50 to 60 section in AHP Online, and then this greater than 60 and less than 80 are going to be these 2 sections. So these need to match AHP Online in order for it to upload. If you have any trouble, again, reach out to us and we can help diagnose what's the problem. And then there's the greater than the market rate units and manager staff units. So when you enter the information, you'll put the number of units and the proposed tenant share of rent. In this scenario, there is no tenant. We're going to assume there's no rental assistance, and you can see that the 5 units are going to pay $900 per month, and then the annual revenue that generates is here. This annual revenue generation, annual rent is going to flow into the housing pro forma later on, so it's kind of interconnected. So that concludes or wraps up this video. Please watch the rest of the series for the other sections of the workbook. Reach out to HCD department with any questions, and thank you for watching.